I apologize I'm late, but let's jump into it. Colin and Panels made this extension by the chop saw at the exterior opening station. If you have to cut anything very long, it was a hassle to do it at that saw, but there's not a lot of room right there. So I love the innovation of making it collapsible, putting wheels on it. You can pull it out when you need it and get it out of the way when you don't. Very cool, Colin. Jason, thanks for posting this one. So at the component saw in trusses, that stand right there, that stationary stand, is where the saw operator at the component saw would put any cold items. And then the pickers would have to come in, get off their lift, grab this material by hand, and bring it over to their forks. Now they've taken this cart, put wheels on it. They can wheel it in right in the same spot. Easy for the operator of the component saw to put the cold material on. Simply wheel that out, and they can easily grab it with their forks. Way less motion and transportation waste and just less struggle. Awesome improvement. So Dean had his pencil saga, and now Ethan and others at 424 have their pen saga, have JC jumping on board in Murfreesboro. Just the What Bugs You board didn't have a pen, and that's certainly something that needs to be fixed. And that brings up how we collect and catalog improvement ideas. So a friend of mine, Alex Ramirez, was on site with us the past couple days, and one of the things he pointed out, the What Bugs You boards are great, but it almost needs to be even easier to collect and really catalog those improvement ideas to make sure that we're capturing those and executing on them at a priority that we want. Working on making that more streamlined. I love the What Bugs You boards because they're visual, but if you're not around one, how do we collect that idea right in the moment? So probably something electronic coming in the future, so look out for that. Love that Steve taking an opportunity to brag on Ray at the 424 yard. So kind of like 2x4s are not 2 inches by 4 inches, plywood, half-inch CDX plywood is 15-30 seconds. It's not 16-30 seconds like you would think. So some of that can get confusing when you get to 5/8 and 3/4. And how do you know that you're grabbing the right thing? How do we take the question out of it? Ray put the answer where the question is for him right on his lift, just took in Sharpie and wrote the answer to those questions on plywood right there on his lift. Love seeing this from Ray. Just the idea that all of those answers are right there so we don't create a defect. Man, just incredible. Way to go, Ray. Jumping to the Mount Juliet yard. Thank you, Travis, for posting this. Something that kind of went the way it had always been for a long time was where the banding stations were and how many banding stations we had. And that created a lot of transportation waste, not just on the Mount Juliet yard, Franklin, Murfreesboro the same way. And so guys have done a really good job of just making more banding stations so that right there in the area that you're working where you need to band up that finished bundle, you've got all of the materials right there. You've got a bander, you got a place for spray paint, everything. You can knock it out one piece flow, not have to travel across the yard. Less chance of dumping an unbanded load as you're traveling across the yard. Just great improvement, guys. Love that you're seeing waste. Moving over to Beasley, Zane identified that we didn't have a dedicated spot for the bags that we use for small stair parts or ballast or knuckles, that type of thing. And now we do, right there where you're pulling those items. Great improvement, Zane. Great improvement from Trell and Bubba and Gentry. So picking door slabs for production, solid core are a lot heavier than hollow core. And so they reinforce these pallets that they pick on to prevent the hassle of when you stack solid cores and the pallets flexing and you can't get the forks under. They just took a piece of plywood and reinforced them. Awesome using your head, not your wallet there. And then put cart tags on them where before you'd have to punch that number in your gun manually. Now you can just scan it and keep moving. Tons of eliminated motion waste and just time waiting while you punch that number in your gun. Just simplifies everything, makes it easy. Love it, guys. So Gus noticed that the windows in the break room above the shipping office had a bunch of cobwebs, needed some 3S love. And what I think is really cool about this is as we improve and learn to see waste, you just start to see it more granularly and you just start to clue in on it, even in just these smaller things. So if you think back when the warehouse was just not near the shape it is now, you'd never notice the cobwebs up there because there were so many other things that needed attention. As we start to clean up, you start to see waste more granularly. And Gus definitely did that here. Great job, man. So Matt noticed when he's cleaning the floor in the production office at Beasley that he wasn't getting the quality that he wanted. He was sweeping first and then mopping, and the sweeping just wasn't doing it. It was still leaving a layer of dust that then he'd mop over, and that would just just move the dirt around, create streaks in the floor. Just wasn't the quality that he wanted. So he's added the Swiffer to that mix, sweep, and then Swiffer, and then mop, and that gets the quality he wants, but it's adding a step. So I love that we're starting with quality, figure out how to get the quality that we need, but then I think we need to Kaizen this some more. We still need to improve, like, how do we Swiffer more frequently? How do we keep the dust down? Where's the dust coming from in there? Ask more why questions to make this easier. But I love that start with a high level of quality, get the quality where we need to, and then work on improving and make it easier. Great job, Matt. Travis giving Lance a shout out here. So this is the pole in the old production area at Beasley where production used to be. There used to be a big high voltage panel looked like this right there. And Lance took it upon himself to make a huge safety improvement by removing that, getting that up out of the way. Thank you, Lance, for keeping everyone safe. And thank you, Travis, for pointing it out. Eric and the coordinator team at Beasley made this improvement that goes to that tracking and cataloging our improvements. Where are we on those improvement projects that we've talked about? We don't want to be people that just talk about something. We want to be people of action. And this is just a very visual board right in the coordinator area where everybody can see, lets everybody know where that stuff's at. Love it. I didn't know this existed before Daryl posted about it. The Service Bible, giving all the guys in the field the questions to the answers that they have, contact information both internally and externally, SOPs by customer where they vary, QR codes for their inspection sheets that they need to get to. This is an amazing improvement, guys. Mark showing us how he 3S the baluster area, both the metal and wooden balusters. Those small loose items, and historically can kind of tend to become a messy area, just grabbing all those loose items. And Mark just holding the standard here, 3S in both those areas, cleaning it up. Great job, Mark. Daryl rounding us out with a coming soon. We're going to turn this area right here into a training area for service and install so we can hold that standard, do the best installs in the business. Way to go, guys. And I almost forgot, Greg O'Shea and Steve Wheeler and their families this past weekend showing up at a food pantry ministry to volunteer and contribute there. Husky's vision statement is that we would honor Jesus, love people, and serve our community. These guys are representing us well. Great stuff this week, everyone. Think about that capturing and cataloging the improvement ideas. So when I'd say improvement ideas, like safety concerns, right in the moment when they come up, how do we capture those? An improvement idea that just pops in your head and maybe you're not near a board, how do we capture those? I think some kind of an electronic form or something like that is probably coming soon. But if you've got any thoughts on doing that, Signal chats by team is also a really, really good thing to have. If you don't have that already, create a Signal chat for your team specifically. Things like that we can just capture and catalog improvements so that we just continually make progress on everybody's great ideas. It's something we're working towards.